says on my thing 2 minutes, but that's cool.
Mine said it was time to go live, so we're going to go live.
It's live, bro.
Hey, this is for Jazzy. We're doing it like this. We're doing it.
Players are taking a stand.
We are taking a stand.
If you're watching us, let us know if you like this behind the scenes look as we do the stream starting. And I always forget to put up our little banner here. Answer our question.
Oh, by the way, the song hasn't been fixed yet, has it?
The closing?
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Yeah,
I haven't heard from him in a week.
EP, if you're watching this, notice that the song has not been fixed. So I might take a stand with you and not do this intro until it gets fixed.
I'll help Trevor out here.
Let's do this!
Good stuff, gents. Good stuff. All right, let's get the show on the road.
I'm a pretty bad kid.
Yeah, let's talk about the bigger picture. Let's talk about how we be ballin', playing with the Wizards. Let's talk about the Nats and how they always got good pictures. Let's talk about the Cats on rescue, turn them boys to winners. Injuries and updates, oh yeah. To the opponent, we stand toe to toe, yeah. To the top, this podcast gonna go, yeah. I think it's something you should know, yeah.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Ref the District. I'm Nathan Perry, and with me, it's the guy who would trade your grandmother if Washington would get a decent QB for their future. The Stoner here is with us.
That is correct.
And of course, it's Trevor. Please do not talk about the name. We've got actual football going on. Trevor Store's with us as well. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm actually right in time with NFL kickoff on NBC. NFL season is back.
Yes,
football
finally.
is back. It's so good to be back. We got Marsha in here watching with us. Good evening. Mama Scores is in the house.
You didn't speak or anything. You're not going to say hi to Stoner. Didn't say hi or anything.
No. I'm boycotting. I'm boycotting Mama Stores.
Oh, word.
Yeah, I'm boycotting. Not really. I love Mama Stores. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
So we stream live. This will be actually our last Thursday stream. We are going to move to Wednesday. We've got some exciting things happening in our personal lives that maybe we'll talk about as those get closer. But we're going to be starting to stream on Wednesdays. And so this will be our last Thursday, but we do stream live across 3 platforms. That's our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter channels. You can find us at Ref the District on each of those. And of course, you can find us on your favorite podcast platforms, whether or not that's Amazon, Apple, Google, or Spotify. If you happen to find us out there, please go ahead and subscribe, leave us comments. That helps other people find our content, and so that stuff is really good. Hey, Patrick, thanks for joining us as well here on our YouTube. So thank you, Patrick, for joining. I know people are getting excited for football. We're excited for football too. Washington is going to be playing the Chargers, and today's show we're going to be doing a little bit preview of that game. In fact, we have Alex from Guilty as Charged coming on in a little bit, so he'll join us and we'll talk about the Chargers. At first, though, we're going to be warming up just the 3 of us talking about the game, and of course, we're going to end with our favorite segment, the DollaDolla. So we'll see. We don't have quite the update yet, but we'll make sure that we're keeping track of that. But if you want to go ahead, get your DollaDolla bets in right now, so that way we can pull those up later. Of course, if you're not familiar with the format, we'll talk about that when the time comes. Let's get rolling here on the warm-up, gentlemen. Football is back.
Yep.
We do have one serious injury, but are you really worried about it? Now, I know, Stoner, you've been concerned about Curtis Samuel's injury, but the depth seems to be there, right?
Yes, but listen, you spent a lot of money on a huge weapon for a reason. It's really as simple as that, isn't it? Can you argue that this team is better with a healthy Curtis Samuel than it is without? And that could be the difference in a game. Maybe it's only one game, but that could be the difference between winning the division and staying home at the end of the year when the playoffs start. So you need a healthy Curtis Samuel, even though we have no idea what he can do in this offense because he hasn't practiced with this team ever.
He can ride a bike very well on the sidelines.
He's a great stationary bicycle rider, but and he can run routes by himself at 75% speed. He's really good at
maybe
that.
50% speed.
Yeah, but that's it. So yeah, I'm concerned. We don't know if De'Ami Brown is great. We don't know if Cam Sims or Adam Humphries can fill that role that is expected of Curtis Samuel. I'm worried. I've been worried since March, and this is a problem. Absolutely. You disagree, Trev?
Boo hoo hoo. I'm so worried. We're fine. We're fine. The people that Ryan's going to be throwing to this game on Sunday, he's been throwing to him the entire offseason. So there's not going to be there should be any confusion there. Curtis Samuel is a prized possession. It's kind of telling if he pulled himself out that somebody else didn't pull him out. So he recognizes that he's not full go, which is fine. He doesn't want to force it. He's a Ferrari. Keep him in the garage. I am a little concerned, though, to see how long this is going to play out, how long the injury is going to be.
How long it has played out already.
You're right, but this game one. But they haven't done anything really in 4 months. He knows the offense. He knows Scott Turner. He knows Ron Rivera. He just doesn't really know the timing of Ryan Fitzpatrick and everything like that and how he plays, which is expected. Who's to say he would catch on like that anyway if he was 100% healthy? We don't know that.
Yeah, we don't know.
So it's game one. He recognizes he's in pain. We'll be fine. De'Ami Brown will be cool. Adam Humphries is fine. You can bring in Dax Milne if you want. We'll be okay. But like I said, the main thing I'm concerned is how long it's going to be.
So my question is should the team just go ahead and put him on IR right now, let the hamstring heal up, open up that roster spot, let the players develop? Otherwise, they're doing this week to week where it's just like, is the hamstring going to be good this week? Is the hamstring going to be good this week? Or is this just going to continue throughout the season?
If he doesn't play Thursday's game, a division game, then yes, go ahead and IR him.
So you give it kind of a week and a half really, and then go ahead and throw him on IR if it's not good then.
Well, I mean, we don't know how bad his injury is.
Right.
His injury could be debilitating where he needs to be out for 6 games, or however many games. He needs to be on IR. We don't know how that is, but it is telling that he's not on IR at this point, which means there is what is IR nowadays? You can bring him back anytime.
Yeah, so they're still under the COVID.
Is it 3 games?
I think it is 3 games.
It's at least 3 games. You might be right. I can't remember.
It's the COVID. It's the same as last year's COVID rules. So it's not the gone are the days where you had to be on IR for the entire season.
Yeah.
And then you can only, there was those few years where it was just like you can bring back one person. Now IR is essentially like the DL list in baseball where you go on it and then you can come back, but you only have a certain period of time, and then you have to be brought back at a certain period of time. So there's some give and take there, which is why I wonder, should Washington go ahead and do that right now with Curtis Samuel? Let him rest up because hamstrings can tend to linger.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah.
It's just one of those things where we don't know the severity of the injury, and nobody's going to tell us either. Coach ain't going to tell us. Nobody.
If we had the receiving core, I think I tweeted this out. If we had the receiving core like we did last year, and this was happening, I'd be way more worried, and I would be like, nah. If you can go 50%, get on the field. Like, we need you. But we have some. Our wide receiver room is deep, so we'll be okay.
It's hopefully deep. It's definitely deeper than last year.
Shows a lot more promise.
There's a lot more promise, but we have no idea what De'Ami Brown is at this point. We've seen him in
practice.
He
looks exciting.
He looks great. He looks like a stud. I just give you the reality, Trev. I'm sorry.
You rain on my parade all the time, man.
I'm just trying to remind you that we can't be looking at everything in our burgundy and gold glasses, that everything is great.
Contacts. I'm not wearing those glasses anymore.
Right. The contacts. Yeah.
I switched to contacts.
Well, Stoner, is there a position group that you're bullish on? Is there a position group that you think is going to perform very well on Sunday?
Well, obviously, you're always going to be bullish on the defensive line. There's just studs up and down the line, and even some of the backups are studs.
Mhm.
So yeah, obviously I'm bullish on that. I'm bullish on Antonio Gibson. I just think he's going to have a huge year, assuming he stays healthy, of course, just like anybody else. But I'm bullish on him. And you're always going to be bullish on McLaurin, what he's done with terrible
That's a given,
quarterbacks. Yeah. So I'm bullish on those guys. I'm not bullish on a third-round receiver who's never played an NFL game. I'm not bullish on a receiver who's like your fourth or fifth receiver now, right? I'm not bullish on him, Cam Sims. I'm not bullish on the unknowns until I see it. I'm not bullish on Fitzpatrick until I see it.
Okay.
That's all.
I'm
Right?
just kidding.
But yeah, there are those I'm bullish on.
You're speaking as a Washington fan of experience. You don't want to get your hopes up because there's been decades of disappointment, and understandable. Now there is a lot of excitement going in, and Trevor, I believe you and I share a lot of excitement here, and so does our friends Guilty as Charged.
Thank you very much, Guilty as Charged.
He
is
different.
That man is different. He'll be just fine.
I think De'Ami Brown is going to be. I think honestly, this is where we're going to. A lot of people are going to feel like Curtis Samuel is like Brian showed. I showed the comment earlier from Brian. Is Paul Richardson 2.0?
Yeah.
Maybe just out of default. Curtis Samuel can come in and play a few games and do very well, but I think De'Ami Brown is going to have people wondering why we signed Curtis Samuel in the first place, just because he can have that kind of impact. Now, that's potential. I want to talk about a player that we talked about being snubbed off of a 100 list, and that's Terry McLaurin. He had 135 targets last year.
Mm-hmm.
Fitzpatrick is known to target his number one receiver quite heavily. Is that number going to go up, down? What kind of production are we going to see from Terry McLaurin, and how is that going to go from game to game?
I think he'll get over 100 targets, maybe not 135.
So you think it's going to go down?
Yeah, because we have more options. Last year we had Terry, and then Terry,
It was
and
a big
then
drop off.
the slot receiver Terry.
Yeah.
And then Terry, and
JD
then Cam
McKissick
Sims.
had 80 targets or 80 receptions because there was nobody else.
Yeah, so he'll get 90 to 100 because he should. He's wide receiver one, but I don't think it'll be as high as it was this year because we have other options to choose from.
That's fair. I appreciate that sentiment that there are more options, but I do believe Fitzpatrick looks at certain guys
for sure.
That time he had Brandon Marshall with the Jets, and it was like 170 targets on him or something. I mean, that's insane.
And then Eric Decker had like another 100 after that.
Yeah, exactly. So he does like to do that. It's been shown in his history and his stats that he targets that number one guy, like Nathan said. So I think it's actually going to go up. I think they're going to throw the ball a lot because, like you said, they have the weapons.
Yes,
but they're also going to throw it to the other team.
Okay,
come on. Why do you got to do that to us?
They're not.
Every quarterback throws it to the other team. It happens.
But it's the consistency of being able to not throw yourself out of games by throwing it to the other team, not throwing it to the other team on a consistent basis. Of course, everybody does. If your name's not Aaron Rodgers, I mean, Aaron Rodgers had like 5 last year. And 48 touchdowns, something like that.
And the GOAT.
So there are obviously the exceptions. But, you don't want them to do it on a consistent basis, and that's what's going to get you in trouble. You don't want to do it when you're driving in the first half, late in the half, and you're trying to get points on the board to cut a lead or something, and he throws a pick. And then all of a sudden,
you do.
No, you don't.
Do that.
Because you don't want to go and
try it.
You don't want them to throw picks.
No,
you don't want to deflate
you
the
never
team.
Want that.
I mean, there's sometimes.
But I want him to try it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, one more question, and we'll end up. We're going to bring on Alex from Guilty as Charged. How important do you think it is to start off the season with that victory, and what does Washington need to do to earn the W?
It's very important to go into week one with a victory and come out of week one with a victory, mainly because of our schedule. We have another game on Thursday, and it's a division game, which we don't play for the division till later on in the year, but we can't go into a division game with a loss and potentially being 0-2 overall and 0-1 in division. So this week one should definitely be a victory, and it also can tell what we have to look forward to in the next game against the division.
Yeah, it's hugely important to get that first win. You're at home. You got a team coming from the west to the east
with fans now too.
We got fans. You got this momentum, this positive momentum going. This is different year. It's the hope of a new season. And
reigning NFC East champions.
Yeah. So, yeah, you want to start it off. It would be hugely disappointing if you can't beat the Chargers in week 1. It would be a huge disappointment. And then if you lose to the Giants in week 2,
throw the whole season away. There go your playoff.
Yeah.
How many teams? How many teams start 0-2 and make the playoffs? Right?
Yeah,
because we got to see Tom, Pat Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's week 3.
Yeah, all before we get to the division again. So
yeah.
So what do we need? What does Washington need to do to win?
They need to sack Justin Herbert more than 3 times, 3 or more sacks, and Ryan Fitzpatrick needs to throw for at least 3 touchdowns and 1 interception.
That's lofty. But I mean, if they do
a lot to win.
If they get 3 touchdowns and only 1 pick, they'll probably win that game.
He needs to manage the game. More TDs than interceptions, obviously.
Yeah. I always do the whole thing with the quarterback, right? We got to stop their quarterback with our defensive line, and we got to make sure that they don't stop our quarterback. It's usually you can look at all the games, and you can usually come down to that. Which quarterback had the better game? Who's the better quarterback? That's usually who wins the game.
All right. Well,
can I just make a little thing real quick?
Of course you can.
For NFL kickoff, like first game of the season, they have Ed Sheeran performing right now.
A Brit. They have a Brit performing.
Not even that he's Brit, but he doesn't get me excited for NFL kickoff. Like, I'm not trying to impress a girl. I'm trying to drink a beer and watch some football, baby.
to be fair, they're trying to appease all those Dallas Cowboy fans. So that's what it's about.
Hey, Trev, what's his name again?
Ed Sheeran. I don't know. He's just Ed.
Regardless what his name is, let's go ahead and finish this warm up, and we're going to go straight into the game. And let's welcome our friend here, Alex from Guilty as Charged. Alex, thank you for joining us here on Ref the District.
Great to be here.
What's up, Alex? What is your overall feeling going into week 1 as far as what you think this game is going to look like that you've seen so far within the preseason with your Chargers?
I feel like it's kind of going to be a low-scoring game with both teams. Both teams have really good defenses. Washington is obviously more established. The Chargers are kind of establishing a new defensive system this year with their new coaching staff. I sort of see it being a slower offensive game. I do have Washington actually winning 23-20.
My man.
I think it'll be a close, low-scoring game. I'd like to see the Chargers win. I think it's one of those games that could go either way at the beginning of the year here, but I just have a little bit more faith, particularly in the defensive line, offensive line matchup. You got Chase Young and all those guys going against an offensive line that will be a lot better than last year, but hasn't played together yet, right? You have Corey Linsley, Rashawn Slater, but going against that defensive line the first week of the season with a brand new O-line, that's just something that I think is going to be really difficult.
Are they all 5 brand new?
Yeah, all 5 are brand new. You got Rashawn Slater at left tackle, Corey Linsley center. You have Filer and Ode Ibushi at the guard spots, and then Brian Bulaga is not new. That's sorry, so I should correct that. Brian Bulaga was here last year, but last season Brian Bulaga only played 6 games, right? So he was kind of in and out of some games, so that was sort of a difficulty. And they've tried, sort of resting their guys this preseason to make sure that everybody's healthy, which has been a good strategy considering, look at the Ravens and what's happening with them, unfortunately, this preseason and this training camp. So, Brandon Staley's philosophy has just been get everybody to week 1 healthy and then go from there, right? So that's what their offensive line philosophy was. I believe they only played 3 of their offensive linemen, this preseason.
And who the heck is Brandon Staley? We for sure never heard of him until he got the head coaching job.
I've heard of him.
Well, okay. I mean, maybe you heard of him, but you weren't like, ooh, this guy's going to make a good head coach someday. Is he somebody who has who's come in and taken charge, and everything seems to be meshing well?
Yeah, I mean, everything you hear is a lot of the guys just kind of respect him in the locker room. That's just a huge thing from him. So he was the defensive coordinator for the Rams, had the #1 defense in the NFL last year after the Rams were kind of so-so the year before with a lot of the same talent. They traded for Jalen Ramsey late in that season. So this was really the first year with this Ramsey-Donald defense, and they were the #1 defense in the league. He does a lot of kind of interesting stuff. He's very innovative in how he does his defense. The Chargers are a 3-4 defense, but that's not really how that's not really how they're going to play under Staley. It's sort of going to be some 3-4 looks, but there will be times where you see a lot of DBs on the field. There will be times you see a lot of linebackers, just coming in, or there will be just quite a few. Yeah, Austin Eckler was a DNP today. So you might cancel out with your Curtis Samuel. So they're 1 for 1. But I think that it's just going to be really interesting to see what Brandon Staley brings to this team. But I'm pretty confident in him. He's just shown a lot of flair defensively as to what he can bring to this team, and that's really what they need.
Yeah, that was cut. What's up, Alex? Trevor here. I'm going to piggyback off of Stoner. So, what's the overall, from the fan base and the community and everything, their realistic expectations for your season coming in with a new coach, new offense, new defense? What are your realistic? Because everybody wants to go to the Super Bowl, obviously.
Right.
But realistically, what are you guys looking at over there?
Realistically, I think the Chargers are somewhere between 9-8, 11-6. I think that's kind of the team there are with this first-year head coach. Obviously, you have Justin Herbert and some of these great offensive players like Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler fixing the offensive line. And on defense, right, this is the first week 1 ever that Joey Bosa and Derwin James have ever made it to healthy together. So having those two guys on the field,
that's crazy.
Yeah, is just awesome. So I'm really excited to see what those two guys can do together. A lot of people will say Super Bowl, and I certainly think Super Bowl is possible, right? But the thing that I've said about the Chargers this offseason, I think has been said in general, is the floor is probably 7-10, and the ceiling is Super Bowl, right? So they could be that team, but if a couple injuries happen here and there, with Derwin James, who's been injured in the last few years, or maybe it takes a while for the coaching staff to get going, then you could see them maybe falling back a little bit to a 7 or 8 win team. I have them currently at 10-7 for the season.
Okay. Sounds like you're not too worried about a sophomore slump there for Herbert, and that includes this is his second offensive scheme here in the NFL under a coach who's a little bit more conservative with Lombardi. How do you feel the offense is going to compare to last year, where it was a little bit more explosive?
Yeah, I think last year was definitely a little bit more explosive, particularly early in games. That's what you saw from them. But, it's just really hard when you can't score in the third and fourth quarter, which was such a problem last year. They would get these big 15, 16 point leads. And then, they would just stall out in the second half, which was unfortunate. As far as Joe Lombardi, I sort of need to be sold on what his offensive philosophy will be. Obviously, in his Detroit tenure, did not do so well with Matt Stafford and Jim Caldwell there. But a lot of guys who are offensive coordinators are guys who get second chances around the league, right? So I just think that's the nature of the business. Other than some of the younger guys that get promoted. So, I'm not super confident with him, but I think that he has the tools in Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler to become, a pretty good offensive coordinator.
Would you trade Justin Herbert for Chase Young? I'm not leading the witness. You see, I did it straight, right, guys? I'm not leading the witness, just straight up. Would you trade him right now?
What, from a Washington standpoint or from a Chargers
standpoint?
No,
from a Chargers standpoint.
If you could redraft the 20.
No, I wouldn't trade Justin Herbert for Chase Young. And again, I love Chase Young. I mean, I think Washington has an awesome pick there. But Justin Herbert is a franchise QB, and just the nature of the position, the defensive end is the second most important position in football, and quarterback is the most important position. So if you get that guy, that's just the nature of the business. You just have to have that franchise quarterback.
So you got a couple of defensive guys who were hurt most of last year as well, right? With Derwin James, Joey Bosa was hurt for quite a bit of the year as well. They seem to be healthy, right? So
Right.
does this give you hope that your defense is going to be a lot better this year?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that the defense was really bad last year anyway. Like, I mean, they were missing Derwin the whole year, which was, such a problem when you look at the secondary, just because of, the fact that he can play at all three levels of the defense. And there's not a lot of players in this league that can do that. But, Joey Bosa was sort of in and out of games. I think the pass rush situation should be a lot better, even if Joey Bosa does have to miss some time at some point, just because I think they got a lot younger there versus like Melvin Ingram, who was a little bit older and injured last year. And I didn't like really the depth guys that they had behind them, but they sort of have a little bit of a youth movement going on there. So I do like that. And their linebackers looked tremendous in the preseason. They didn't play Joey Bosa or Derwin James at all in the preseason, but their linebackers just really shined, particularly those first two games. So I'm pretty confident in the defense right now. I'm curious to see what Asante Samuel Jr. is. Stoner was talking about unknowns like De'Ami Brown and that kind of whole thing. And I really like Asante Samuel Jr., but
he's nice.
Yeah, he's nice. But there's always growing pains in the league. And maybe one game he'll get torched by, wide receiver or something, unfortunately. So, you just kind of got to wait and see with rookie players. But I do really like what he's been able to do. And he's probably going to be sort of their starting outside corner, or not starting outside from starting outside corner too, I should say. Michael Davis will be CP1.
Is it a make? Sorry, Trev. I just want to follow up on that. Is this a make or break year for Derwin James as far as being a guy who's going to get a long-term contract?
I was about to say he wasn't given that rookie extension, so wasn't picked up on the option.
No, his option is being picked up. Yeah.
Okay, his option was picked up.
Yeah, so he'll be picked up for the 5th year. So yeah, it's really this year and then next year. I think it is a make or break year just to stay healthy. I don't think he has to play every game, but just not going down with season-ending injury. If he had another knee injury or something like that, that would just be like kind of really devastating to his career, and I hope it wouldn't come to that. But obviously, like if he has a minor injury, I think that they could still pay him anyway. Like, if you're dealing with a hamstring or a groin, like that's not a huge deal as long as you can just be on the field and, still play most of the games.
Sorry, Trev.
No, you're good. Is there any level of concern or worry or panic just for the offensive side? Your starters didn't play any preseason. It's a brand new offensive line. Justin Herbert was inserted last year on the fly, balled out, obviously, but this year we have the stadium, the fans are back, no continuity. Is there any level of panic or anything for that going into week 1 against a top 5 defense?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is some worry about that really for all teams that are going into stadiums where fans are coming back. That's definitely going to be a little bit different than it was last year. I am concerned about the offensive line in this game just because this is going to be the first time that they've all played together. And like, this is the worst possible matchup you could draw for the first time you could play together. I'd rather be playing the Cowboys this week and then do Washington next week, just to like get them all in a game, against not a bad defensive line, but an okay, good defensive line versus playing arguably the best line in the NFL, week 1. So right. That is definitely a concern. But, for me, it's just, can they all, make it through the game healthy? And the real person to look at, I think, in that case is Brian Bulaga, who was in and out of games with injuries last year. So if he can stay healthy and all the other guys, play all the snaps, I'm not too concerned. But of course, the matchup that people are going to pay attention to is Chase Young versus Rashawn Slater, which is obviously a rematch of their college matchup at Northwestern, Ohio State, which is like really fun tape to watch. If you haven't watched it, it's really great. But Chase Young is coming in with 1 year of NFL experience. Rashawn Slater, unfortunately, he played in the preseason, has been in training camp, but took last year off in preparing for the draft. So that's going to be, kind of an interesting, to see how much that experience really helps Chase Young, or if Rashawn Slater can still, stand up to him.
Now, you've mentioned a few names here. Obviously, the Washington fans are going to be familiar with some of the bigger names like Bosa and Derwin James, and even Slater is a big name that's been mentioned several times because of the Chase Young connection. You mentioned Asante Samuel Jr. Are there any names that Washington fans might not be familiar with that we're going to find out on Sunday and that we're going to start to be very, very familiar with?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the Chargers linebackers are going to be a big thing. You got Kaiser White, Drew Tranquil, Kenneth Murray, who are really going to create some noise this year. That second level of the defense doesn't get the love that, say, Derwin James and Joey Bosa get, but I think that they're going to be pretty active tacklers, and you have to be against Washington, when they have Antonio Gibson and sort of the running game that they become accustomed to, right? I would say also names that fans might not know. You got Josh Palmer, who's a rookie wide receiver who's really impressed in camp, who's pretty much been given the wide receiver 3 job. So, if you're double covering Keenan or making that decision, then, he's someone that can get open and get his way to some catches like he did in the preseason very impressively. And I would also say the tight end room is different. There's no Hunter Henry, who a lot of people became familiar with over the years, right? He's in New England. So Jared Cook is going to be the option. And it's going to be impressive to see, what he can do. And then you also have Donald Parham, who was a big 6'8" tight end last year.
Former Washington football team player, Donald Parham.
Yeah, former. He was on the practice squad, right? I think he played.
Washington famously has issues covering tight ends, so that's a little worrisome to hear that the tight ends are going to be ones we're familiar with. Because we tend to see those names quite often on the score sheet.
Right. Yeah. So I think Jared Cook will get involved. And obviously in the red zone, they love targeting Donald Parham like they did last year. Just a big 6'8" guy, and Justin Herbert can throw the ball to him. Like that's just such a, important target to have down in the red zone. Steven Anderson is another tight end that they really like from a pass catching standpoint. I think he'll get involved. But it's a lot of the same names that people know, like Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert. But I think if you're looking for guys to watch, it's probably the linebackers as well as their, wide receiver tight end options that aren't, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams.
So this is a question we ask all our guests who come from a different team standpoint. What is the outside view of the Washington football team, not on the field, but kind of as an organization? Is the team still kind of the laughing stock of the league, or from an outside perspective, are they starting to get a little bit more respect around the league?
From an organizational standpoint, I love the on the field product. I think they're great. Daniel Snyder is a bit of a kook, and so he's a bit power hungry in that regard, and there's a lot of stuff about him. But as far as the on the field product, I love Ron Rivera. He's great. I love what they've really done in the draft the last few years. And you look at the on the field product, I know some people aren't high on Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm not necessarily high on him either. But I think what he presents you, at least in comparison to, say, Alex Smith, is he can stretch the field vertically, right? He's not afraid to throw it downfield versus if you're constructing an offense around Alex Smith. I just looked this up because I was curious about the stats today. But in about the same amount of games they played last year, you had Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing for 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and you had Alex Smith, who I believe threw for like 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, right? So with Alex Smith, you have to play that very game manager sort of dink and dunk type football, which, works. I mean, that's how they beat the Steelers with great, performance from their defense. It's kind of sort of what they did to the Cowboys a little bit in that Thanksgiving game and just sort of broke them by the end. So that can work, but I think, we'll see I don't think Curtis Samuel is going to play this week, but still you have Terry McLaurin and Logan Thomas and like all these guys that can stretch the field as well. So having a quarterback who is not afraid to throw it vertically, I just think is really important.
Let's go. I like that, man.
We'll take that.
He likes this. He likes this squad.
Yeah, I mean, I like this guy just to get in my division prediction. Unfortunately, I did predict the Cowboys to win the division, so that's unfortunate.
Wow.
But
all right, well, thanks for coming on.
Great
meeting you. See you Sunday.
Yeah, so but it could go either way. I think it'll either be the Cowboys or the football team winning the division. I'm really just curious to see what the NFC East is this year, because I feel like all of those teams have gotten better over the course of the offseason, but how much better they've gotten, remains to be seen. But I'd love to see the NFC East just as a whole not be what they were last year, which was, the
least.
the NFC least.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to forgive you for that Cowboys prediction because you gave us your Washington Chargers prediction earlier, and you predicted Washington victorious on Sunday 23-20 over your Chargers. Now, we were going to ask you that. We have a $dollar segment. So this is just kind of prop bet type situation where you've not a real dollar. That's
Right.
like dollar. But what kind of bet would you make for this weekend? That you'd bet $1 on, what kind of, like I said, like a prop bet, like, someone going over, ridiculous amount of yards or
how many touchdowns, how many
touchdowns,
picks, how many sacks,
who gets the
fumbles.
first sack,
Okay. I think from a Charger standpoint, I definitely like Keenan Allen over 100 yards. I think that's kind of a safe bet, just because I think he's going to be such a reception machine and get a lot of targets. From a Washington standpoint, I don't know what the line is, but I like Chase Young over 1.5 sacks. I think he'll get 2 in this game.
That a boy?
Yeah, I think he'll get 2 in this game, maybe just early on, because Rashawn Slater might get better later in the game than I think at the start, right? Just because of those first game jitters. Those would be my 2 bets if I had to come up with some.
Word.
All right, sounds good.
I'll take those.
All right, and Alex, could you go ahead and let our audience know where they can find you?
Yeah, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're also on all podcast feeds. Just look at Guilty as Charged podcast. You can subscribe there. We have our Twitter accounts. I'm at Alex Insdorf 99 on Twitter and at GAC Podcast 17 on Twitter as well.
All right. Well, thank you, Alex, for joining us here on Ref the District. Again, that's Alex from Guilty as Charged. Thank you, Alex, and may the best team win on Sunday, and may that be the burgundy and gold.
I hope it's the blue and gold. So,
All right. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate you, buddy.
See you, bro.
All right. So he gave us some good dollar bets there, gentlemen.
Yeah, he did.
I personally, I think I'm not going to go against him on the Keenan Allen one.
No, Nope.
Keenan Allen, I think, is solid for 100 yards. I think that's solid.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's not going to get 100 yards. Mike Williams will instead.
No, not bad. Why? Because what did Corey call William Jackson? WJ
Willie
triple
three
sticks or
sticks.
something?
Willie three sticks, yeah. He's going to lock down Keenan Allen, and St. Juice will probably be on the outside. They're going to pick on St. Juice, and that'll be how he'll get 100 yards. Mike Williams will.
They're not going to shut down the Chargers offense. You just hope they're going to slow them down, because that's a good offensive team.
If they get to that quarter, if they can sack him over 5 times, I think we'll be fine. I mean, we did it against Philly. We did 7 against Philly game 1.
Yeah.
I'll tell you,
COVID.
if his other dollar Chase Young going more than a sack and a half, then that's a good thing. I'm gonna take that one. I think Chase ends up with a sack or less. I don't think he gets a sack and a half or more.
Really?
There's going to be a lot of attention paid to Chase Young.
I think he gets
That's
one.
fine.
I think he's motivated to get one.
2.
I don't think that he gets more than one.
Well, are you gonna? If you say that every game, I mean, he's gonna be the greatest sacker in the history of the universe. If he's gonna get 1 or 2 a game,
that's possible.
If he averages 1 a game, sure.
If he averages 1 a game, that's 17 sacks.
Yeah.
How many did he have last year?
Defensive player of the year.
How many did he have last year?
7.5.
And he played how many games?
All but 1, I believe. Yeah, he played them all.
Yeah. He'll be better this year. Was there anything that Alex brought up that you guys were changed your mind on the outcome?
Nah, bro. He's real. He picked us to win.
Yeah. In fact, I might stretch out my my prediction now. I might make it a little bit wider.
Is there
Trev gave me that look. I'm picking Washington.
Oh,
I'm saying it might be a little bit wider.
You know what I will comment on? Here's my hand. He actually backed up Stoner's point of trading Chase Young for
Of course.
Justin Herbert.
Everybody knows it, but you two.
No,
Everybody
that's
knows
not
it.
true.
No.
There's a bunch of
I think he did
people
that
who,
too because he's a fan of Justin Herbert automatically.
and of course, if you asked me right now, would I trade Chase Young for Justin Herbert? Of course, I would take that trade right up. Right now, I would. What I'm saying is, in the redraft,
What the?
He just flipped.
no. What I'm saying is, in the redraft, you still take Chase Young. You don't know that Justin Herbert's going to be that player.
Well, the whole point of the redraft is to say.
Then let's get out of
we've
this what
already
if
seen
business.
it.
Let's
Right.
get out of this garbage what if
Of
business.
course, that's all it
Stop
is. Is a
bringing
what
this
if.
up.
That's
Look,
all
Ed,
it is a what
Ed
if.
Sheeran's back for performance number 2. I mean, really?
I know. I heard his entire performance number 1 on your TV.
Oh,
Oh,
goodness.
sorry. Oh, I should turn it down. My
You
bad.
should probably have it on mute as we record the podcast.
Check your phone.
Was it like that during the whole interview?
Check your phone. Check your Twitter.
All right. Well, we're
all of
still
that.
recording the podcast, so let's not get too derailed here. We had on Alex from the Guilty as Charged podcast. He gave us $2 Let's move into our own DollaDolla segment.
Yes.
And please, if you are one of our viewers, go ahead and who are watching this live, give us your DollaDolla own DollaDolla account here.
All right.
I am
The
so
first one was
sorry.
Keenan Allen over 100 yards.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with that one.
Neither am I.
Trevor's going against
All right.
that.
Trevor.
All right. And then we have Chase Young with more sack and a half, at least a sack and a half.
Yeah.
I'm going with that.
Well, you're going with him, so I'm going against him.
I'm going against him as well.
Yeah. Stoner and
I think he gets one.
Stoner. What's your name again? Nathan.
Yeah, I don't have it up. I don't have our names up this time.
Nothing.
See?
The
All right. So
all
who's
right.
got some?
Yeah, where are the names?
I took them down for a little bit. People know our names.
Do they?
These
Do
are
they
our
really
names.
know?
In case you're watching,
That's the whole
our
point of
live
doing
stream
it,
right
bro.
now, I'm Nathan.
Bro.
The crazy guy right there is Trev,
Hi.
who's watching the NFL pregame
Ed
while
Sheehan.
doing the podcast.
Ed Sheeran.
And then
Ed
Stoner
Sheeran.
is with the whiteboard doing
All right.
our DollaDolla segment. So who's up first for our own personal DollaDolla?
Can I just say it feels good to be back home. I just want to say that.
I love our podcast, guys.
It
Oh,
feels
on
good to
our
be back home.
podcast?
It
Oh,
feels good to
yeah.
be back home. No shade to anything, but it just feels good to be home.
We were while we're stalling to think of some. Let's go ahead and shout out to Corey on the Warpath. We were with him just yesterday.
That was
happy to broadcast with that man. He was a hoot, and we had a lot of fun. Even if two of us got dropped, and the third one should have been dropped early on, but
This guy never got dropped. I'm just saying.
That's great.
There was all that threat that I was going to get dropped, and I. Oh man! All right,
just to do it.
Here's one for you. You ready?
All right.
Okay.
Is this yours?
This is his.
This is mine, and I
Okay.
already know I'm going to get some action on this. Logan Thomas,
I'm already there.
8 catches at least.
No, at least or at most.
At
Think
least,
about it,
right?
At
Stoner.
least. What do you mean at most? Then you get all those under? No, I'm basically saying 7.5 is my number. 7.5 catches. You want over or under? Because I'm going over.
I'm taking the under. I'll take the under.
I'm taking over.
Loto.
I'm taking over.
You're taking no? Yeah, so you're with me.
Yeah, you're
I'll
with
ride.
Stoner on that.
I'll go
one.
to the
8
loony bin with you, dog.
Catches.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Nathan,
under on
no.
this one. I do think that Curtis Samuel plays a part in that because Curtis Samuel is out. So I think
Mhm.
that somebody's got to pick up those catches. I'm
Logan
thinking it's going to be Humphreys, Diami, but Logan Thomas is a good option for him, and he likes his tight ends just fine. So there's, I know
Corey
some
made a
people think
good
that he
point.
doesn't like to throw.
He's only thrown to Mike Gesicki in all of his years, pretty much at tight end.
Yeah.
And not anybody else.
No, now he has a stud.
Okay, if we want
He has a good tight
He's
end.
a
He has
stud.
a good tight end.
did he go to the Pro Bowl last year?
He would have if there was one,
Good.
but there
call.
wasn't because I
what's
think
that?
Madden picked it or something like that. It was some
Yeah, it
It
baloney
was
Pro Bowl.
garbage. Garbage people were going.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that. No. So I won't take that one. Let's say
You got one coming, Nathan? I'm still thinking on one.
Ryan
like that one.
Fitzpatrick throws for more than 300 yards
I'm with you, Nathan.
in his
It's
debut
300
game.
plus yards.
Yep.
Stoner, no. But what you will see is Antonio Gibson in the end zone twice.
Yo, I was gonna say that.
No,
Two
you weren't.
rushing
I
or
was
just
gonna
two?
say a
Just
rushing
in
and
the
a
end
receiving.
zone.
times.
Just in the end zone. 2
All right,
touchdowns.
I like that.
That's another one. I'll go
Yeah.
with that one.
I like that. I'm
Well,
not going to go. I'm not going to
I
go
only
against
want
it.
people going against it. Nobody wants to go against it.
No one's going against
Take
it.
it
yet.
off the board.
Ready?
Yeah, take it off the board.
Okay, here's one.
All right.
Ryan Fitzpatrick throws.
He's
two
already
inter-
writing this down.
Ryan
'cause it's a
Fitzpatrick
name.
throws 2 interceptions in the win against the Chargers.
Ooh.
2 interception and dub. I
I'll
can see
take-
that.
I'm gonna go against that one. I don't think the team wins if he throws 2 interceptions. I think honestly that Washington needs him to have a single turnover this game.
This every game.
Well, yes, it needs to be every game.
Every
but
game needs to be
this
that.
particular game, I think they really are looking for him to for them to win. I think that he needs to have 1 turnover. I don't think if he has 2 interceptions, likely going to be a bad day for
Yeah.
Washington fans.
So here's a question. It's not a dollar question, but this is just a general question. If Fitzpatrick throws for 25 touchdowns and 17 picks, what kind of year do they have?
We win less than 10 games, but still win the division like last year and go to the playoffs.
25
Interesting.
touchdowns and 17 interceptions.
picks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
How many fumbles? Did you see what our quarterbacks did last year, Trevor? That's
3.
that's an upgrade over what happened last year.
1
many
rushing
fumbles?
and 3 fumbles lost.
3
So-
fumbles lost, 20
26
turnovers?
and 20, yeah.
Okay, so you just took away a touchdown because didn't you say it was 27?
No, I said 25, and then
25
I
is
added a rushing touchdown, 1,
Okay, so 26
26?
TDs.
and 20
To 20.
turnovers.
And now it's 20, it's not 17.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
'cause
20
3
turnovers,
fumbles.
17 interceptions, and three fumbles
fumbles.
Oh,
lost.
we don't make the playoffs. We win 6 to 7 games.
Again, that's an improvement in QB play.
I still, it doesn't mean we'll go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn about the QB play. We went to the playoffs last year with bad
I-
QB play.
Honestly, I think we get at least 9 wins out of that QB play.
26 and 20. Did you see our
Yes.
schedule?
Did you see our
schedule?
QB play last year?
And we still made the playoffs, is what
Yes.
I'm saying. If
Yes.
we have this play this year, we won't make the playoffs because of our schedule. Think about it. We play Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, who's pissed off.
You keep
which is
forgetting
not good.
about the MVP this season, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, Daniel Jones twice. I mean, let's be
He's-
real.
He's undefeated against Washington.
Dak is healthy. We honestly don't know. We just don't like him because he's a Cowboy, but we don't know. So, like, literally, we could have
Yeah, it's
26 and
tough.
20 and not make the playoffs.
tough
I
schedule.
just want to make the postseason, bro.
And you don't
That's
think
all I care
26
about.
and 20 is enough to do it?
No,
Okay.
not
I
against
think
the schedule.
I think 26 and 20 is going to put you right around. We can't sit on the fence anymore. We can't say 8 and 8 anymore. We have to either go losing record or
it's a
winning
winning
record.
record or a losing
Yeah.
record.
So I would say a 26 and 20 season, 9 and 8, but probably not good enough.
I think
for
they get
playoffs.
9 wins off of 26 and 20.
I think so.
Okay,
it's not
let's
gonna
do
be
this
enough.
now. DollaDolla. Want to make it a DollaDolla?
A
A
season, long?
season long. We've got a couple
Yeah.
season long $.
Well, how do we do that?
If we'll
Well,
figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Because what are you going to say? 26 and 20.
Yeah,
the records.
He throws 25. If he has
The
25
record's
or more touchdowns and 20 or more turnovers, then you say you do the wins and postseason.
But if he doesn't have that, either one of the two, then the whole bet's off.
All right,
That's why it's a difficult bet. Right? That's why it's a difficult bet to do. But yeah, I think he's going to have a lot of turnovers.
Yes.
And he's going to have way more touchdowns than we've seen here for a couple of years since Kirk left.
Upper 20s.
Mid, maybe. Yeah.
Mid to upper 20s. He's going to have mid to upper 20s.
30.
What's that?
He'll throw 30.
He's only done that a couple times in his career, which is why it's hard to just say that he's going to do that. But he has the potential to do it. I feel more confident saying mid to upper 20s is where we're going to end. And I think that he honestly can, throw in those low teens for interceptions. We'll see how the season goes. We're not really wanting to talk about the season. We're wanting to talk about this week, though. We finished our DollaDolla segment because I'm imagining we don't have any more out there yet. I don't think anybody else got any prop bets. It doesn't look like any of our viewers have them. So let's go ahead and move.
Hey, wait! I got one more. Sorry,
got one more.
I do got one more. A starting defensive lineman, season-long injury.
Shut.
Where did
Well, folks, Stoner won't be joining the chat here for a while. Trev is more than welcome to come back. I'm
getting more fruit snacks. I got more fruit snacks. After the day that happened today in the NFL with the Baltimore Ravens,
why would he do that to us?
That?
Why would he do that to us?
Like literally.
Seriously. Why?
And with our injury history the past few years,
I hope he understands that I'm not bringing him back on. He's not coming. I'm not putting him back.
You guys can see him backstage right now. He's doing
this little cutesy little thing. He's not coming back on the show, folks.
Back. He's gonna face this. He's gonna face this smoke.
He has the capability to bring himself back. I don't have to do that for him.
I got you. What? Okay, now that you're here, for the people that are watching, if you're watching, excuse me real quick. Stoner, what the hell is your problem making that a $1 bet?
It has no effect.
It's not a real question. Yes, it does.
It has no. Remember when I did this in the preseason?
You don't do that.
Yeah.
Remember when I did it in the preseason? You guys freaked
J.K.
out.
Dobbins.
And
you did it to J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins.
Because he was playing against us. You did it to him. And did you see what else happened to the rest of that room?
Yeah.
Even if you don't believe in the superstition, Stoner, you just don't do that.
Not believe.
Does anybody want to take
snacks?
I'm not even acknowledging it past the fact that you just don't do that.
And you know what?
So you remember yesterday we had the discussion about I don't do hot takes. That was kind of a hot take. That a defensive. I'm doing it just for attention.
Oh, cool.
Oh, goodness. All right, let's move on from this crazy talk here, and let's go into our pick for the Washington football game.
Okay.
Alex, who joined us earlier from Guilty as Charged, picked Washington to win 23-20. Trevor, who do you have winning?
Well, the Washington football team.
Why?
With the final score. Why?
Yeah. Why are they going to beat the Chargers?
Because I honestly think that week one is going to be a little too much to handle for just this. Okay, let me start over. I think week one is going to be too much for Justin Herbert to handle. New system. I know they've had time in the offseason to practice, but that's what, like 2-3 months, half speed, not really, whatever.
They had San Fran in camp with them. So they had a lot of scrimmages against another team, full speed.
Cool, but
okay.
I just don't think that it's a different atmosphere with fans back. Week one, you didn't play at all in the preseason for any kind of game type situations, and you're going against a top 5 NFL defense in their house across the country. Washington wins 27-13.
Ooh, that's a low score for the Chargers.
Yeah.
That's a high score for Washington. 27 points is a offensive
Explosion.
firehouse. Yeah.
All right, Nathan, what do you got?
I will also take Washington winning this game. I'll take them winning 24-20.
Ooh.
Okay.
And why do you have the Washington football team winning, Nathan?
I also think that this is going to be a game that the Chargers are just a little sluggish coming out the gates, not because of the preseason portion, more so just because they haven't had a lot of game time experience, as Alex mentioned. So that's the part that I think is going to kind of hinder them. This is a new coach. This is a new offensive coordinator. This is a new offensive line for the most part. Some of these defensive studs are coming back from not playing last season or barely playing last season. So I think that they're going to be a little sluggish. I think the Chargers are a team to watch. I think Alex might be a little bit more bullish on them than I am. I think that double-digit wins is probably a little bit more than I'd expect. But I do think that they'll be a team people don't want to play. I think they'll be a very respectable team towards the end of the season. But at the beginning of the season, I think they'll be a little bit easier to tackle.
All right. I got that. I got Washington winning 19-16.
You really think D-Hop's going to make that many field goals to make it have 19?
No, that's probably going to be like 2 missed extra points or something like that.
And then we got Pinedo.
Oh man, you called D-Hop out.
No, I don't hate D-Hop, but yeah, it's going to be one of those weird games where there's just going to be like a lot of weird scoring, a lot of missed opportunities for both sides. But I think it is a big factor of the West Coast team coming over the East Coast. They're going to be playing at 10 o'clock in the morning on their body clock. And I think that plays a little bit of a role in this game. And I'm not even sure if this is true, but I remember last year teams were doing that thing. Usually they come in like on a Friday when they're traveling to another.
Some of the teams choose to do that. Yeah, they'll come in early.
But now they're coming in later because, again, they just don't want to deal with all the hassles of COVID-19 restrictions. Mm-hmm. So they're coming in later. They might not even come in until Saturday. Mm-hmm. Their body clocks are not going to be adjusted. I thought one thing that
and be ready to go.
Yeah, one thing Ron Rivera did that also I think went a little bit overlooked is he's changed practice times to start around 12 o'clock, which is around the time most of their games are being played this year. And because remember in camp, they were starting at like 9 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning. But then when it got to Ashburn, when it got out to Ashburn, he said, let's change it to when we'd actually be playing the games at 1 o'clock. So we get our bodies used to that schedule. And so I think that plays a factor. I just think it does. I think the Chargers are probably the better team overall. But in this situation, coming out here, first game, all those things you guys mentioned are great points. But I think Washington wins 19-16.
Now, if Austin Eckler doesn't play,
that's a huge
benefit.
Fact.
It'll be a benefit if he doesn't play. Alex was just like it'd be equal out to the Curtis Samuel. Not close. I don't think Eckler to Curtis Samuel is going to be
running back
equal.
in San Diego or LA.
They got Jackson and like Josh Taylor, John Jackson. I think he was pretty good last couple of years filling in for guys when they were getting hurt. When who's that guy used to be there? Their running back.
Melvin
he was
Gordon.
there for Melvin Gordon. I think Jackson's been there all this time as his backup, and he'd get hurt, and Jackson would play well. But Eckler's special. He's one of those special guys. If Keenan Allen goes out, that's a problem.
Ooh, that's huge.
Right. But so Eckler is a problem if he goes out. For them, he's a problem because he's a special player. You don't want to lose those guys.
No,
all right. Well, I was going to have us pick a lock in an upset, but we're running a little bit late on time, and I want to make sure everybody here gets to watch the game. So let's just go ahead and pick tonight's game.
Oh, okay.
Who do you got winning, Tampa Bay or the Dallas Cowboys?
I got Tampa Bay 34, Dallas 21.
Tampa Bay 34, Dallas. All right, Nathan.
I will also take Tampa
I'm so
Bay.
sorry. So terribly sorry.
I will also go Tampa Bay with a we'll just do 31-21 Tampa Bay.
31.
Okay.
It's pretty much the same.
No.
And Stoner is going to take Tampa Bay.
Oh, I thought he was going to go against me. Normally he does.
He usually flips your score.
Yeah.
That's right. No, this is the real deal. That was preseason. Preseason,
Okay.
which means nothing, and you can't
No
figure that stuff
shenanigans
out.
except
Yeah.
for just wishing Siege and long injuries.
No shenanigans, no goofing around anymore. This is the real deal.
Well,
Tampa
you need to
Bay-
right now take back what you said about an injury real quick. Take it back. Take it back.
I take it back.
Thank you.
Tampa Bay 76-5.
So somebody gonna sack Tom Brady and get a safety? You crazy?
I think at that. I think at 76 points, I think that Tom Brady or whoever's backing up Tom Brady or whoever's backing up Tom Brady's backup at that point probably just runs into the back of the end zone.
Yeah, they just felt
killed
bad.
time at
Right.
that point. So, all right. Well, that's going to do it here for this episode of Ref the District. Again, we stream here live on our YouTube channel. Thank you to all those who joined us live on, we stream actually on YouTube, Twitter, and our Facebook. So thank you for those who joined us live on those platforms. You can also catch the audio platform wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe. Leave us an Apple review. That helps people find the podcast. We much appreciate that. If you hadn't had a chance to listen to Brittany Wagner's interview after the whistle, go ahead and check that out on our YouTube or the audio platforms that I just mentioned. Excellent interview. She was a lot of fun. Great time. And you can buy her book. It came out this week, and you can find out more about that tonight. Hey guys, it's time for us to get to football. So until next time, I'm Nathan. That's the Stoner. And that's Trevor.
See you on Wednesdays.
Be a fan.
Be a fan.